Greetings to friends across the country and perhaps right around the world as we pause and gather to remember and to pay tribute to the countless courageous individuals who lost their lives 31 years ago during that cruel night and day of violence and injustice in Tianamen Square, June 4th, 1989. Friends, I'm Alex Neve, the Secretary General of Amnesty International Canada, and I'm joining you from unceded Algonquin Anishinaabe territory in Ottawa. Across Canada, vigils and gatherings marking this somber 31st anniversary of the Tianamen Square massacres are similarly taking place in treaty lands and unceded Indigenous territory in many corners of the country. I begin, therefore, by acknowledging and respecting the fact that all struggles for rights and justice are fundamentally interconnected and intertwined. I'm also joining you from the front lawn of Amnesty International Canada's national office, where we have the tremendous honor to host the Empty Chair Memorial to one of China's great, unwavering and determined human rights defenders, Liu Xiaobao. Relentlessly persecuted, arrested, imprisoned by Chinese authorities simply because of his efforts to strive for a China grounded in respect for rights and democracy. Awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 2010, but his chair for that ceremony left glaringly empty as he was not allowed out of prison to claim his award. Died while still cruelly and callously imprisoned by Chinese authorities in 2017. Liu Xiaobao, of course, was one of the many courageous activists at the fore of the Tiananmen protests, and he was arrested and imprisoned for 2 years in the immediate aftermath. I can well imagine the strong message of solidarity, commitment, and struggle he would share with us from his chair today. And of course, his chair is not at all an empty chair, especially today. It is far from empty. Alongside Liu Xiaobao, alongside his wife, the magnificent poet and human rights defender Liu Jia, this chair overflows. For in this chair sits every student who poured into Tiananmen Square during those heady days of protest, hope, and possibility in 1989. In this chair sits every person, young and old, gunned down and killed by Chinese security forces 31 years ago. In this chair sits the family members of the victims of Tiananmen Square who for more than 3 decades now have called for answers, truth, and accountability for the terrible crimes of June 4th, 1989, and who have so often been threatened, attacked, and imprisoned themselves. In this chair sit the Canadians and near Canadians who languish in Chinese prisons, some under sentence of death, flagrant abuses of human rights having been their reality, pawns in wider geopolitical games. So here too sit Wang Bingjiang, Hussein Chalil, Sun Qian, Fan Wei, Robert Schellenberg, Michael Kovrig, Michael Spavor, and others, and their families, loved ones, and friends. In this chair sit communities struggling against massive human rights violations and injustice throughout and across China. Here sit the many millions of Uyghurs and other Muslim minorities, Tibetans, Falun Gong practitioners, pro-democracy activists, and so many others who face unimaginable persecution just for asserting their rights. And this week in particular, in this chair sit the people of Hong Kong, who have faced an unrelenting and an intensifying erosion of their rights over the past year, and who have not given up. In the face of all the power and might of Beijing, they have not been deterred by ominous new national security measures, and they have made it very clear they will not give up, ever, no matter what. They sit in this chair because they show us what is at stake is simply too precious and fundamental. And therefore, friends, today our commitment, promise, and pledge must be that we are all together in this chair, a chair that will never bow to China's defiant disregard for human rights, and will become only stronger as we join together in greater numbers and with greater determination. We remember Tiananmen Square 31 years later, but we do much more than remember. We join together in solidarity and in action for Hong Kong, for Uyghurs and Tibetans, for Falun Gong practitioners, for the two Michaels and other imprisoned Canadians. We join together in solidarity and to act for human rights.